A skilled workers gap, just not enough qualified people to fill all of the available jobs. Here's what former Dirty Jobs host Mike Rowe told us about that.
It's not just a skill gap, it's a will gap. It's a symptom of our collective dysfunction regarding the definition of a good job. We have to redefine what that means, and we have to, at a much earlier age, make sure kids are exposed to all of the opportunities that are truly viable.
I think we should bring in Juanita Duggan, NFIB President and CEO. Juanita, welcome back. You represent small business. Seems to me that your problem is not the quality of the labor force or the skills that they've got, but the will of the labor force to take the jobs on offer. They don't want these kind of jobs.
Thank you for having me, Stuart. You know, NFIB has been representing small business exclusively for 75 years, and we've been surveying those members monthly for 45 years. And we've been asking our members, you know, what is it that's not qualified about the workers that are appearing? And then you have the problem of no applicants for some of these jobs. What they're telling us is that in many cases, applicants aren't qualified because of attitude or ability to show up on time or appearance. And let's not forget, in some cases, the inability to pass a drug test. So there are many things that you can do to prepare yourself for a job that don't really require going back to school or being retrained.
Right. But that's a significant problem, because now you are talking about the quality of the workforce that comes looking for a job. Attitude may be a problem. Showing up on time is a problem. What's the other one? Drug testing, that's a problem. What you're saying is a considerable criticism of the workforce who are out there waiting to take a job.
Well, also remember that some of this is no workers, no qualified applicants, and or no bodies. There are more jobs than there are bodies. And remember that the labor force participation rate dropped during the 8 years before President Trump. And what's going to need to happen here is that people are going to have to re-enter the workforce. People are going to have to come out of retirement, possibly out of school, to just create the bodies for the number of jobs for which there are no applicants. And yes, when you consider that small business creates 2 out of every 3 new jobs, the people who are going to come into the workforce are going to be working for small business. Luckily, small business owners were given a great gift last year with the 20% small business tax deduction. And it's given them more money in their pockets. They're telling us that they're going to use that to raise wages and to do training so that they can pull those people back into the workforce and train people.
What are employers allowed to say to potential workers? Are they allowed to say, you know, you've got to shape up your appearance. We don't like the way you look. If you change, we'll hire you. Are you allowed to say that?
Well, I think it's different in every state and in every community. But this is a structural problem, and it's something that can be fixed. Remember, it's not necessarily hard skills. It's something that can be remedied by training. And I think that's the good news here, is that our optimism index and our surveys are showing that small business owners are paying more, and they are going to use that money, the savings from the tax bill, to train workers. So that's the big story here. Yes, their biggest business problem is qualified workers or no applicants, but they're prepared to do something about it in the small business community.
Good for you, Juanita. A very interesting situation we've got here. 7 million available jobs and not enough people to fill them who are qualified to fill them. Fascinating. Juanita, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you again real soon. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Sure.